They say Norway is the land of endless beauty, a place where mountains kiss the sky, where fjords cradle the ocean like ancient guardians, and where silence speaks louder than words. But far beyond the cities, beyond the tourist trails and glowing northern lights, there lies a hidden village. A place not found on most maps. A place where time bends in strange ways. And where after 10 p.m., darkness rules. No, not metaphorical darkness. Actual, absolute blackness. No streetlights. No glowing windows. No phone screens. Not even a flicker of artificial light is allowed. The villagers call it the quiet hour. Outsiders call it madness. The government calls it revolutionary. They say it's the secret to Norwegian happiness, this intentional descent into darkness. They say it heals the soul, resets the mind, restores the balance lost in a world addicted to overstimulation. But nobody really knows what happens in that silence. Not until you go there. Not until the light goes out. Eric was a young documentarian, hungry for stories that no one dared to tell. When he heard whispers about this village, Morkstad, they called it, he packed his camera, his notebook, and a single question: what if happiness doesn't come from light, but from the absence of it? The journey was long. Past Oslo, past the silent railroads and frozen hills. Then, on foot, through woods so dense they swallowed the sky. Until finally, a wooden sign, half covered in moss, greeted him: "Welcome till Morkstad." It didn't look like much. Just a scattering of cabins, cobbled paths, and people dressed too simply for the cold. They smiled as Eric passed, but not the kind of smile that welcomes, more like the kind that hides something. His host, a woman named Ingrid, was in her 70s. She wore thick glasses and moved like someone who'd mastered the art of stillness. 10 p.m., she said softly as she handed him the key to his room. No light. No exceptions. They'll know. They? Eric asked. She paused. The village. He laughed nervously. Right. That evening, the sky burned in shades of lavender and ash. Eric sat near the frozen lake, camera ready, trying to capture the surreal peace. Kids played without screens. Elders shared quiet stories. A place untouched by time. Until a bell rang, low and distant. 10 p.m. As if choreographed, every window darkened. Streetlights blinked off. Even the inn dimmed into shadow. Eric instinctively reached for his phone. Just a quick check, a message to send. But before his thumb touched the screen, he heard a sound behind him. Footsteps. He turned. No one. Just the wind. Inside, he lit a candle, just enough to write a few notes. That's when he saw it. A pair of eyes watching him through the window. Not angry. Not surprised. Just watching. Then another pair. And another. Until the glass was fogged with breath. He blew out the candle. The next morning, over breakfast, he asked Ingrid what had happened. She simply stirred her tea and said, "You broke the rhythm. They don't like that." Who exactly is they? She looked him dead in the eye. All of us. We've learned to respect the dark. Eric spent the next day walking through the village, observing. Everything felt slower here. More deliberate. People spoke in hushed voices, even at noon. Children played without devices. No one seemed in a rush. He couldn't deny it, there was a certain peace in the air, like the world had taken a deep breath and decided to just be. But beneath that peace was something else. Attention. A constant awareness of the approaching night. As the hours passed, Eric noticed the villagers glancing at the sky more frequently, as if timing their thoughts to the sinking sun. That afternoon, he visited the village's only clinic. It was a small wooden building near the forest edge. Inside, he met Dr. Liv Johansson, a calm woman with silver-streaked hair and a voice like soft thunder. "You're curious about our darkness," she said, before Eric could even speak. "Yes," he admitted. "It's unusual. It's necessary," she replied. "We live in a world poisoned by light. Screens. Noise. Fluorescent chaos. We've forgotten how to sleep. How to feel. How to be. So the darkness fixes that?" She nodded. "Melatonin. That's the beginning. Light suppresses it. Darkness invites it. But it goes deeper than chemicals. The dark teaches us discipline. It humbles the ego. Make space for silence. And silence heals. But doesn't it cause fear? Depression? Eric asked. She smiled. Only at first. Because fear lives where light never leaves. But when the light disappears, and the mind stops fighting, the soul begins to listen. That night, Eric tried. He toured off everything. No candles. No screens. Just himself, wrapped in blankets, listening to the creak of the wood, the breathing of the house, the nothingness outside. At first, his mind screamed, it spun stories of monsters, of madness. But eventually, it went quiet. And for the first time in years, Eric fell into a sleep so deep it felt like the earth itself had rocked him to rest. He woke up at sunrise, confused. Alive. Clear-headed. Still, questions haunted him. Why the secrecy? Why the intensity of the rules? At the village library, he searched through records. Old newspapers. Journals. He found fragments, reports of visitors who never returned, letters from former villagers describing sleepless nights and shadowy figures. One note read, "It's not the darkness that changes you. It's what waits inside of it." That evening, he was invited to the village gathering. A monthly ritual, Ingrid explained. Everyone gathers around the fire before the last light. No talking. Just sitting. Together. He went. As the sun vanished behind the hills, the villagers gathered in the town square. They sat in a perfect circle, facing inward. No words. No phones. Just a silent unity. Eric joined, unsure of what to expect. Minutes passed. Then hours. And then, something strange happened. He stopped thinking. The noise in his mind, gone. The urge to document, to explain, to capture, vanished. He felt present. Fully, painfully, beautifully present. Not as a filmmaker. Not as a visitor. But as a soul in stillness. When the bell rang again, the 10 o'clock warning, no one moved. They just closed their eyes. And for the first time, Eric understood. The next day, Eric woke up different. He couldn't quite explain it. The village, the people, even the silence, it no longer felt foreign. It felt familiar. Like he had been here before, in another life. Or maybe this was the first time he'd actually been anywhere at all. But that comfort came with a cost. He had questions. Real ones. What happens if someone refuses the darkness? What if they resist? What if someone shines a light on all this, literally or metaphorically? That night, Eric tested the limits. At 10:03 p.m., he lit a small lamp in his room. Just for a moment. Just to write. The knock came 30 seconds later. Not loud. Not angry. Just present. He opened the door. No one there. But on the floor, a folded note. Inside, just 4 words, handwritten in perfect block letters. You are not ready. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Ingrid wouldn't look him in the eye. At breakfast, the villagers kept their distance. The air had changed. It was still calm. But like the calm before something breaks. Eric packed his bags. He had enough footage, enough notes, enough whispers to make the world listen. But when he reached the edge of the village, the road was gone. Snow covered the path like it had never existed. He turned back. At the village square, he found the same circle from before, but now, it was empty chairs. All facing inward. All waiting. For him. He stood in the center. And slowly, the villagers emerged. From cabins. From trees. From the mist. They took their seats in silence. Ingrid stepped forward. You wanted truth. But truth isn't found in light. It's born in darkness. Sit. Eric hesitated. You've already seen more than most ever do, she continued. But you still carry your old world, your fear, your noise, your need to expose. He sat. The silence wrapped around him like a second skin. Then Ingrid whispered, let go. And everything went black. No fear. No pain. Just release. When Eric opened his eyes, it was morning. He was alone in the square. No villagers. No Ingrid. Just a note in his hand. It read, now, you are ready. He walked. This time, the road was clear. The forest opened like it had been waiting for him to pass. And he did. Back in the city, the noise returned. The lights, the screens, the endless motion. But something inside Eric had changed. He couldn't explain it in interviews. He couldn't edit it into a documentary. So he didn't. He never released the footage. Instead, he wrote one sentence on his website: "Some truths aren't meant to be filmed. They're meant to be felt, in the dark." But the legend of the village grew. Others tried to find it. Most couldn't. Some say it appears only to those who need it. Others say it was never real. But Eric knew better. And deep inside, so do you. Because maybe the question isn't whether the village is real. Maybe the real question is, would you survive a night without light? Would you face your mind, without distraction? Would you meet yourself, without filters, without noise, without escape? They say the happiest people on earth are those who know how to sit in darkness. And smile anyway. And maybe, just maybe, they're right. So next time the lights go out, don't be afraid. It might be your invitation. To listen. To breathe. To return. To begin again. If this story moved you, if it sparked something inside your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs silence. Someone who's lost in the noise. Someone who forgot how to just be. And if you want more stories that awaken, that challenge, that connect, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be waiting. In the quiet. In the dark. Until next time.